A reading from the first book of Samuel. After they had eaten in the hall, Hannah rose and took her stand before the Lord, while Eli the priest was sitting on his seat by the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. In the bitterness of her soul she prayed to the Lord with many tears, and made a vow, saying, O Lord of hosts, if you will take notice of the distress of your servant, and bear me in mind, and not forget your servant, and give her a man-child, I will give him to the Lord for the whole of his life, and no razor shall ever touch his head. While she prayed before the Lord, which she did for some time, Eli was watching her mouth, for she was speaking under her breath. Her lips were moving, but her voice could not be heard. He therefore supposed that she was drunk, and said to her, How long are you going to be in this drunken state? Rid yourself of your wine. No, my lord, Hannah replied. I am a woman in great trouble. I have taken neither wine nor strong drink. I was pouring out my soul before the Lord. Do not take your maidservant for a worthless woman. All this time I have been speaking from the depth of my grief and my resentment. Then Eli answered her, Go in peace, he said, and may the God of Israel grant what you have asked of him. And she said, May your maidservant find favor in your sight. And with that the woman went away. She returned to the hall, and ate, and was dejected no longer. They rose early in the morning, and worshipped before the Lord, and then set out and returned to their home in Ramah. Elkanah had intercourse with Hannah his wife, and the Lord was mindful of her. She conceived, and gave birth to a son, and called him Samuel, since, she said, I asked the Lord for him. The Word of the Lord. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus and his disciples went as far as Capernaum, and as soon as the Sabbath came, he went to the synagogue and began to teach. And his teaching made a deep impression on them, because unlike the scribes, he taught them with authority. In their synagogue just then there was a man possessed by an unclean spirit, and it shouted, What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. But Jesus said sharply, Be quiet. Come out of him. And the unclean spirit threw the man into convulsions, and with a loud cry went out of him. The people were so astonished that they started asking each other what it all meant. Here is a teaching that is new, they said, and with authority behind it. He gives orders even to unclean spirits, and they obey him. And his reputation rapidly spread everywhere, through all the surrounding Galilean countryside. The Gospel of the Lord.